What's going on, everybody? Let's just jump right into this story because it's really stupid and it's going to be irritating, but it ends on a happy note if you want to know. There's a fun video at the end. Biden says that Trump is America's first racist president. So forget George Washington, because remember, he was a slave owner. Forget James Adams. Forget any of the former presidents who were also slave owners. Forget Lincoln. Forget anyone who had any prejudice, any malice. Forget Lyndon B. Johnson saying that he's going to have the N-words voting Democrat for the next 60 years, or whatever the quote is. There were people that were elected and appointed, and in some cases pirated, the presidency. And they were more racist than Donald Trump is, clearly, because I don't believe he's a racist at all. And even if you do, if you believe that Trump is a racist, if you believe that he has some, well, maybe he is an older man, he's probably got some prejudices that lead him to, have racial biases. Okay, if that is your stance, do you think he's the first racist president? Anyways, okay, let's just read the article because it can't get dumber, right? Joe Biden, the presumptive Democratic presidential nominee. Why do they keep calling it the presumptive? It's like that they're saying he won't be, but you're presuming he will be. It's really weird. And notice no one's got any signage made for this guy. So you'd think like the branding and the signage would be everywhere, and I don't see a lot of it. I just see the media spin, negative Trump, anti-Trump, anti-Trump. Look, even Biden can beat Trump, and we don't really have that much confidence in Biden. That's kind of what they've said. Here this is. Joe Biden, the presumptive Democratic presidential nominee, on Wednesday called President Trump the country's first racist to be elected to the White House. The former vice president's blunt assessment came after a virtual town hall organized by the Service Employees International Union after a healthcare worker expressed concern that Trump continues to blame Asians for the coronavirus pandemic. That is irresponsible journalism, Washington Post. You can say that there is a representative or a healthcare worker that expressed that concern that, quote, Trump continues to blame Asians, but you don't write it as a fact of the matter. You don't write it as, well, he's concerned that Trump continues to blame Asians. He's not blaming Asians. There's no blanket statement of Asian people are to blame for this virus. It's a Chinese virus. It's a Wu flu, cuckoo cuckoo. That he has said over and over, it's the China virus, as this says. Not an Asian virus. And by the way, I don't think Asian people have been even that negatively affected by it as have so many other people, at least physically. Obviously, I'm sure that there are some Asian businesses that have been targeted or not patronized because people are worried about and people are going to be biased. So you understand this. This goes on. Biden signaled that he shared the questioner's concern. So the questioner says, I'm concerned because Trump just keeps blaming Asians for the coronavirus. And Biden doesn't skip out on an opportunity to dogpile on Superman. I don't know why. He just keeps getting punched. And that's what he's too senile to understand that this is dumb. But he says that he shares the questioner's concern that Trump frequently refers to the pandemic as the China virus, saying the way he deals with people based on the color of their skin, their national origin, or where they're from is absolutely sickening. He doesn't do that. Trump actually says, I only want to deal with the people who are the best of what they do. Not that I only want to deal with white people. Because if he said that, he wouldn't work with all of the many black people that he works with, right? And if it was about Asian people, he certainly wouldn't be going to Japan and to Korea, and I mean both Koreas. He wouldn't be going to any of the other, India. He wouldn't be like tweeting at Modi and high-fiving and playing cricket and shit. I'm being serious. There's no way that any rational person at this point believes, one, that Biden is actually saying this organically, that it's not fed through a wire in his eye or his ear, but that anyone believes this is even true, no matter who says it. It says, quote, no sitting president has ever done this, Biden said. Never, never, never. No Republican president has done this. No Democrat president has done this. We've had racists, and they've existed. They've tried to get elected president. He's the first one that has. What a load of shit. He's the first one that has. He's the first one. Okay, so Barack Obama, apparently not racist at all to Joe Biden. Not even a little bit. Okay. George W. Bush, was he not racist a little bit? Did he care all about the black people? Let's ask. I mean, did he do everything he could do to save black people? Ask Kanye if he did that. Well, go back further. What about Clinton? Was Clinton racist? Come on. Come on. Come on. Go back. I mean, George W. Bush, Bill Clinton, George Bush, Reagan, I don't think you can say was like a mean racist, but he's a wealthy old man from Hollywood in the 80s. And he was in Hollywood in what, like the 40s and 50s? He was like a well-known actor then? Started getting involved in politics in what, the 60s? Okay. What about earlier presidents? Talk like multiple mid-centuries. You have the 1850s and the 1950s and 60s. No racists then? Woodrow Wilson. Not a racist? LBJ, like I already said. So, okay. You get the point. Lots of racist presidents in the past. Donald Trump, the first racist president elected. Okay. Either you believe he is biased and he is racist and he's prejudiced, then you have to say in the same breath you'd have to say, but that he also isn't the first one and this is just Biden saying the fucking dumbest thing ever. Or you can say, I don't believe Trump is a racist, so it doesn't matter that we've had racist presidents before because I don't believe that he is. Or you can say, hey, I think he does see that certain classes of people have been treated differently and he tries his best to make up for that in his private life and he doesn't always showboat that. Joe Biden, on the other hand, does nothing to help people, so he has to showboat that he is. It's a lied projection. It's a falsity. It's interesting. It's like a microcosmic look at the Plato's allegory of the cave with an individual. That's Joe Biden. So, anyways, tell me what you think in the comments. I'll read them. Like this video. Subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. Like 80% of people that watch the videos don't subscribe, which is crazy because you don't want to miss this. And then please keep America afloat.
About one or two more, please.
Thank you. Would you like to respond to Joe Biden, who today described you might have heard that, as the first racist to be elected president? That was his words.
But you know, it's interesting because we did criminal justice reform. We passed criminal justice reform, something that Obama and Biden were unable to do. We did opportunity cities. We did the greatest, if you look at what we've done with opportunity zones, nobody's ever even thought of a plan like that. Prior to the China plague coming into our country and really doing terrible things all over the world, doing terrible things, we had the best African American, Hispanic American, Asian American, almost every group was the best for unemployment. The unemployment numbers were the best. You look at employment, you look at opportunity zones, and maybe most importantly, you look at criminal justice reform, you look at prison reform. I've done things that nobody else, and I've said this, and I say it openly, and not a lot of people dispute it. I've done more for black Americans than anybody, with the possible exception of Abraham Lincoln. Nobody has even been close. Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you.